You didn't come this far to play small. This is Winning Daily, the podcast that builds winners in life and in business. Welcome home.
1, 2, and 3.
And we're back with another episode. This is episode, I believe, 15. But we have a very special guest. I'm joined by my partner, Adam Mai. And we have a very special guest, like I said, Jonathan Moore. You want to introduce yourself, John? Yeah, I'm glad you're here with us. Tell people at home, who is Jonathan Moore?
So John Moore is an entrepreneur. He's the co-founder and CEO of a company called GymSciencx. And I feel really grateful in the opportunity to be part of Winning Daily today.
Yeah, he also sponsors our podcast. I should probably mention that as well, too.
Yeah, he sponsored me.
the entire team. So, but it's been something that we've been wanting to do is have you on here, obviously, to talk about GymSciencx, what it is you're doing in the health and fitness space. But tell us a little bit more about like fitness, how it's been a part of your life, because obviously I know it's been a big part of your life.
Yeah, so fitness is an interesting journey for me. I never wanted to do it, was never interested in it, but growing up with a father, he was, as an Army Ranger in 275, waking me up with cold water in the morning, just became a daily discipline now. So I don't really ever feel good unless I'm working out, and I don't feel accomplished unless I get some type of physical activity done for the day. And it's just really put me, as a priority in business. And then it really just started to transform into my daily habits. And then after that, I was like, well, I need to find a way to make money when it comes to working out, because it's not working out.
Right. So what is that? Like, what's your routine, man? Are you like a morning guy or?
Yeah. So every day I wake up at least 5:15. I'm down at the Jiu-Jitsu studio where, you would think I'd actually be good at that sport, but I'm not, because I practice it.
How long you been rolling, man?
A little close to 4 years now.
Okay.
And just recently got the purple belt. Shout out to Alliance Laguna Hills for making that happen.
Whoa. There it is.
And lucky enough to train under a world champion for both gi and no gi. And went in the first time thinking that I was just going to smoke everybody because I, can run really fast and do some pull-ups, and found out that teenage girls can beat me. And after that, I was like, I'm hooked. I need to stay here. I need to start winning. And that's really how my fitness...
Your kids are into it now too, right?
He is, dude. And my son would smoke me if we were the same size.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
How long? Wait, so you've been doing it for a while?
4 years. Okay. He's going on... He got kicked out the first class he ever took.
Oh, no way.
He's just undisciplined and ADD. But he's been doing it for about 1.5 years, and it's just unbelievable to see the growth.
How old is he?
He's 7 now.
Okay.
So
he's what, second grade?
He's second grader, yeah.
Actually, fun fact, me and Jonathan has known each other for quite some time, but we never, in through business of colleagues and stuff like that. So we've known and been acquaintances for a while. We didn't get close until he somehow got pulled in and accepted to do a triathlon with our group. And ever since then, that's how we started hanging out a lot more. But it was during COVID, and somehow, my mentor business partner is talked him into doing a triathlon with us. I don't know, out of nowhere, but the guy can freaking run.
Wait, so you did it? I know you've talked about this.
Yeah, it's the same way.
You enjoy that shit?
No. No. To be clear, I've never enjoyed a workout. I just enjoy the end when I said I did it.
Yeah.
When they say embrace the suck, or it is what it is, and you're just like, okay, my goal is just to be the last man standing. That's the feeling I want.
Got it. So you're training for what, functionality, longevity, just to look good, feel good?
Honestly, I don't even know what I'm training for.
Please, come on, dude. Okay. Or do you work out at home? Do you work out at besides Jiu-Jitsu? Obviously.
So obviously, I do Jiu-Jitsu. I have a whole garage set up where I have a cold plunge, a 5-person sauna, a rogue setup.
Oh shit! I'm not over.
Yeah, I think I have 600 square foot jiu-jitsu mat on a platform with
at your house?
Yeah, at my house, and I have these LED lights. And so you would think as a guy, when you walk in there, you're like, dude, this guy likes to work out. I'm like, no guys, this is the worst place I want to be, but it's the only place I go to because mentally it's where you go to try to break yourself.
Right.
Yeah, that's where you go to get better. Yeah. So that's why I do it.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Well, so obviously you're an entrepreneur. How long have you been an entrepreneur?
Since I was 16, because every job I've ever had I've been fired from, rightfully so. I deserved it.
Really?
Yeah. Some people are good employees and some people are horrible employees.
Yeah.
So, most entrepreneurs I know are horrible employees.
I'm the worst.
Yeah, you're not obedient to the system. You have a better idea, way to do things.
So I say it like this, like when you're an entrepreneur, right, you want to execute super fast and you want to do it perfectly. But what happens is when you work for a company, you have a lot of people who are very, very complacent and they're just trying to go through their job without being caught or exposed.
Right.
So
I'm just here for the check, guy.
Right. And I was
just work here.
I'm like, well, I'm here for the check too, but I also want to like do better. And
level up, yeah.
Yeah, and the problem is you start realizing when you work for a company, there's no such thing as a level up.
Yeah.
But you're leveling down, actually.
Yeah,
you're getting indoctrinated to follow the system that they want you to do. And I was like, if I'm just going to be poor, I might as well just be poor for myself. And that's basically how I started. And it happened really early for me.
What was the first company that you actually started yourself?
First company I ever started myself that epically failed was a company called House of Threads. And it fell.
What was it? It became unraveled.
What was it?
Yeah, I went into women's apparel.
Okay.
Okay. I was trying to figure out where I was going with it.
Yeah, and it like I had a really good knack for communicating and talking to people, and I moved from Orange County to LA. And first thing, I met this group called Neiman Brothers, which that's an amazing story. And they were like, "Hey, John, you should sell our fabric." And I'm like, "What the hell's fabric?" They're like, "Clothes, material that people wear." I'm like, "How hard is that?"
Yeah.
I didn't realize that I was going in the most like fiercest community of angry Koreans, Persian Jewish people, Chinese people. So I just went all in. And I got close to like a couple $1 million in sales. And I was like, oh, I was like all excited. And they're like, oh, by the way, you owe us money. I'm like, well, how does that work? They're like, yeah, there's these things called chargebacks when your clothes don't sell. And like, you need to pay back. And then I was like, okay, House of Threads is no longer a house.
Yeah.
It's called foreclosure. Under a ratio.
Well, how old were you when you got into that business?
I was 18, actually.
Oh, shoot. How old are you now?
I'm 38 and getting old pretty quick.
Right behind you. Okay. So from there, how did you get into... Well, tell us a little bit about GymSciencx. Obviously, GymSciencx is a company... Well, I want you to tell us because the way you explained it off camera, I will mess it up. So
it's good. So GymSciencx, how GymSciencx originated was just a combination of epic business failures that led to me liking to work out, want to feel better. And one day I was sitting on the jiu-jitsu mat, and it's a funny story. Every single fighter sits down on the mat and they're like, when am I ever going to get paid to do this? And these are top level guys. We're talking like dudes that would smoke me, smoke everybody. And like, even when they do make it, they're like, why didn't I feel accomplished like I made the cash? And I was like, you know what? I think I can figure out how to actually practice jiu-jitsu and work out and get paid. So luckily, every negative thing that happens has a very positive thing that happens. So me being what I like to say a white belt, I go into this gym, dude, and I just like lock hands with this angry motherfucking brown belt dude. And I'm like, I'm going to kill this guy. And next thing I know, he like rips my neck. And I'm like, oh, I'm done, dude. I was like frozen. Like I couldn't turn my neck. So I was like, oh, it's over, dude. It's fucking done. And he's like, so my professor goes, you should go to this chiropractor. I'm like, all right, you're right. So I go to the chiropractor. First thing he says to me, how's Sonny doing? How's Brandon doing? How's Larry doing? Like, how do you know all these guys? He's like, dude, you're like a cult. You guys come in here all the time.
He's putting you guys back together.
He's like, dude, you're fucked up all the time. And I'm like, what? And then I go back to the gym. So that really like hit me hard. I was like, okay. And I go back to gym. I'm like, we're all wearing the same shit. I'm like, we're wearing the same gi. We buy the same headgear, same mouthpieces. I'm like, hey, how'd you like, oh, I just saw Lauricio wearing it. And I'm like, we're all connected. So yeah. So this is how GymSciencx was born. So I realized very quickly that the owner of my jiu-jitsu gym had 500 plus members. And of those 500 plus members, 490 of us were going to the same doctors, buying the same gis, buying the same supplements. And by osmosis, basically we're all kind of the same. We're cool. And then I started looking at gyms and I'm like, it's cool. I was like, we all want to look good and feel good, and we all buy the same stuff.
Culture is like culture. There's
culture. Sorry,
yeah, of course.
Gym community, not calling you a cult.
But we
all like it.
I know.
Hey, now what we need to do is like, I challenge everybody out there, go around and see if you can tell what gym the person that you see.
Yeah.
like, oh, you're an Equinox person, or you're a Lifetime person, or you're
Oh, dude, some of the people at commercial gyms, I won't say which ones, you could totally tell. You can totally tell. Or if you haven't been to a commercial gym in a while, go in there. You see some off the wall shit, dude. Like off the wall stuff.
So I realized quickly, I'm like, you know what? Boutique level gyms are micro level influencers that have massive influence in sales conversion that this world has never seen. And I then recognized that brands like Nike, Lululemon, and let's go on the jiu-jitsu side, show you roll, spend millions of dollars a year for purposes of finding people like me. And they create ads and they create these stories to try to get me to buy. I'm like, well, what if I just went to the source, the traffic source itself, and this is where Adam comes in, and I could get that database for little to no cost. But at the same time, I could reward that gym owner, which spent probably his entire life savings. He's an owner operator, and I can generate him additional revenue. And to make that happen, I was like, well, again, on the mat, there was another guy. He's a little older than me. And he just recently sold his company to a group called Itron, which is a $2.4 billion energy company. And I was like, hey, were you the engineer on that? He's like, yeah. I was like, dude, why don't you just help me build the software so we can just practice jiu-jitsu full time, just start smoking world champions? He's like, calm down, we're not going to smoke a world champion, but I'll tell you what, I will help you build this software because I want to do this too. And that's how the journey started. And we started moving up the chain. And very quickly, we started to recognize that healthcare, wearable devices, footwear, apparel were all interconnected. And it all started from the gym owner. And the gym owner is probably the most influential person when it comes to someone's purchase history and behavior. Because, as I like to say, people spend more money outside the gym to look good at the gym than they do inside the gym. And
yeah, you gave a good analogy about that with your wife and whatnot, like that type. Give that analogy so that people at home can kind of pick that up.
So it's really simple. Like, as I was bringing back jiu-jitsu, right, we're all the same. But then I quickly noticed very fast that my wife, right, signs up for Equinox, and she's just loving it. She's like, John, I'm gonna look hot for you, and I'm gonna do everything, and you're gonna spend $350 a month for me to get there, and then I'm gonna spend another $400 a month just to make sure that I get their pre-met meals, and it's all for you, babe. I love you. And I'm like, okay. Next thing I know, I look at the credit card bill, and I'm like, you also love Aloe, Lululemon, you love On. And I was like, the math isn't adding up here because I just spent $600 at Equinox, but I see like $2,500, $3,000 at South Coast in my gym apparel.
Yeah.
And as I started showing up with her, I recognized it was a very common theme.
Yeah.
All these girls at the Pilates studio, all the women at the gym, they all want to look good.
Going back to the culture and like cult thing, it's like we're creatures of habit and behavior, and fitness becomes this lifestyle. But there's all these other things dollars that are poured into it. That's why the fitness space is such a big moneymaker, right?
It's a huge moneymaker. And, all of us want to look better. All of us want to feel better. And all of us want to look good. So, when you start putting that whole program together, and not to say that we're a blockchain company, but when you can string it on one chain and you have it make complete sense from, like I say, from womb to tomb, meaning the womb is the gym influencer, or just to say the gym owner, and you're able to provide that customer journey in a clear path, you're going to have a lot of success.
Yeah.
And that's just how we did it.
How long? You guys have known each other quite a long time, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We've known each other. So how I met John was, so my business partner and mentor, Peter, I've known him for over a decade now. And so over time, there was a period where we were in the same space. Me and John, that was in the same space. He had heard about Peter, because Peter's one of the main guys that like really pioneered that whole market for internet marketing when it comes to like Facebook marketing. And then on the advertiser side, which is you hear it now, like you guys, I make this joke all the time. He was the $1 million offer or $1 million lead before $1 million offer book ever came out. So, and they did like, back then we didn't have all these different type of technologies. So they did a movie about him. They actually have a movie it's called .com or something like that. You can find it on YouTube. And he has like all these other ones. However, they kind of came in contact. He was actually, Jonathan was working with Peter's brother-in-law. And that's how they kind of got pulled in. And there was like several different projects that I think Jonathan was working on. Again, at that time, even though we knew of each other, the categories or the verticals of businesses was slightly different, right? I think Jonathan at that time was working more on the food and services side of things, and I was working obviously a little bit more on the product and like social media side.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. You also do you've been in the merchant processing space.
Yeah, so that is a space that I love it and I hate it. I think it's a necessary evil. And I started, how to kind of piggyback off what Adam said was, again, I was never a good employee. I had a job as a marketing coordinator for a solar company, and I fouled it up pretty bad and I got fired.
Sorry to interrupt. What's your education background? Like, is that something you went to school for?
No, so I knew very on from like kindergarten I was never going to go to college. My whole goal was to join the military and be a hero and try to get a Medal of Honor recipient. And then a war happened. I was like, I don't know if that's if that's really cool. So I was still going to join anyways. I didn't think I was ever going to get, the Medal of Honor because I saw what the whole thing of war was about. And luckily, a friend of mine got in a fist fight, and he ended up not being able to join. So we were going to do Army together because I cannot be a Marine. It's just unacceptable in my house. And just father's Army. And I just was raised like, you are going to be tough. And so Marines are super tough, by the way. Shout out. And next thing I know, he gets in a fight. He's like, hey, wait for me to show up. I'm like, cool. Year goes by. He's like, all right, I changed my mind. I'm joining Marines. I'm like, well, I guess that's the end of the road. I was like, that's the end of the road. So, fresh out of high school, I'd already taken a sales job anyways. I was doing pretty good at it. And then the mortgage boom was still happening. And I just fell into that world. And after that, I was like, well, I don't really have to be smart. I don't really have to be good at anything. I just have to know how to communicate, which I've been doing that my whole life since the day I was born. I'll just not go to school. And at that time, everybody was like, you're going to be a drug addict. They're like, you're done, dude. That's it. He's homeless. And I got kicked out of the Orange County bubble community. They're like, John Moore is dead to us. He's a terrible influence and he probably smokes crack.
Damn. All because you didn't go to school.
All because I didn't go to school. That's what happens in Orange County.
That's what happens in Orange County.
So I was immediately like, done, dude. I would go to I don't even think Whole Foods is around there. I'd go to Ralph's or something or Albertsons and they'd be like, there he is.
Yeah.
That's the guy. He has nothing going on for himself. Make sure to hide your kids. And so I packed up my bags and I just moved to LA. And that's where the land of opportunity really kind of came in for me because there's just so much moving and shaking there. And LA is amazing because you have so much diversity. You have on the same street, you will have a homeless guy who might have been an NBA player or an MIT grad. And then you'll literally have a guy who is kind of like me who becomes a 100 millionaire just because he's out there street hustling and making things happen. So that's kind of how I got my start in the business world, honestly.
Got it. And so for GymSciencx and what you guys are building right now, this is something that you guys have put a lot more effort into lately, right? Like within the last few months, because you guys are partnering on this.
Yeah.
What's next for GymSciencx?
So GymSciencx right now is getting vertically integrated with the Gym Network, powered by Adam, a healthcare network, which is powered by a large group called Signature RX, which is a very, very big group. And at the same time, we're now going to be connecting our gym owners as well as our healthcare network with more apparel brands and more of those members so we can actually get more statistics on what people like to buy.
Brand deals and that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So, where GymSciencx kind of developed, it was so me and Jonathan kind of came across each other earlier this year and through actually a trade show that we didn't even want to be at anymore. Because this was an old industry, old vertical that we're yeah, we still got to go make face with everybody. And then we just came across each other and then and we're like, let's chat. And then we started talking. We started talking about how we're entering more and more of the gym space itself, right? And so there was a need as we were working together. I was like, oh, this is really, I love what GymSciencx does because it helps a lot of, and it organizes for my trainers at my gym to get better brand deals. Because what happens a lot of times with these brand deals is someone will reach out to you to via DM on that, but you don't know what the next person got, right? Meaning let's say for instance, Gabe's an influencer, Adam's an influencer, but that brand might went to Gabe and gave him, you know, XYZ on this particular deal. They came to me and they just sat there and was like, okay, well, we're just gonna lowball and see what, you know, like, because Gabe accepted way too quick. So let's do the next one a little bit lower and see if he accepts it too, right? Because they're a business. I know what they're trying to do, right? And so they'll do that and consistently, and all of a sudden, you go down the line, now you have like a bunch of influencers getting just free product. They don't make any money. They might get 1 or 2 products, and you know, they're working for big brand deals, right? They have huge followings. They can actually bring clients to it. Now, what GymSciencx did at that time when he was explaining to me, I was like, wow, you can use this because what you do is you negotiate on the behalf of the trainer themselves.
Yep.
This episode is brought to you by White Rabbit Energy. If you don't know what White Rabbit Energy is, it's an alternative form of energy drink. No caffeine, no stimulants. It is a kratom-infused energy seltzer, and it's absolutely awesome. My personal favorite is the watermelon, but if you're looking for where to find White Rabbit Energy, you can just go to whiterabbitenergy.com, and we are proudly partnered with them here at Winning Daily.
Yep. Right, you take that out, and also the other thing that happens a lot of times is the bigger brand deals. How often, I see this often, I don't know about everybody else, but I see it often that the influencer doesn't get paid. It's hard to track it down.
Really?
Yes, it happens a lot.
More
right?
than you think.
More than you think. And I'm not talking about the big ones, the big influencers. Yeah, they'll get the big check, like, you know, the Kim Kardashians of the world, right? But like the medium to smaller ones, sometimes they're like, hey, where's my, you know, 2K, 3K, whatever it is I was supposed to get for this brand deal. And they'll get, you know, pulled around every once in a while. And it's a harder way because they don't understand of like, no, you're supposed to turn in a, you know, this document or 1099, like all these different things. Some of these brand guys, the influencers, they just know what they're doing on social media and create content. GymSciencx stepped in to do that part for them.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that was the first leg of it. And then what happened ever since we met, I had a dying need, right? Because my gym, I've worked in CRMs. I worked for a corporate and all the other big box, like big corporate locations before. And so I'm always used to having a strong system in place and merger processing. And so, you know, I'll say this out there. The gym space, the software in it, it's like 2008, dude, or maybe 1988 or something. No, 1998, sorry. It's like green screen. Go to your big box gym and look behind the counter. Still green screen. There was like no color on it, right? And I'm like laughing at it because I'm like, no one knows any better, right? They're like, the system doesn't understand like all this other. So I'm getting introduced. I'm looking at it. I'm like, why do these like systems look so outdated and clunky? And I have to like get a printout sheet to see, you know, all my stats. And so, you know, I expressed this to John at that time, and John was like, well, I have a couple of like people that we can introduce you to. So he started introducing me to some of his like GMS like partners or CRM partners. I went through them. They promised me the world. And, you know, I guess I'm knowing this space or knowing what I want it to do. I quickly found out they couldn't do what they should do. Right. And so I was going through, I was like, this one doesn't do this. This one doesn't do this. And we went back and forth for literally 6 months to some of them. And one day, I don't know where it came out of. Jonathan just called me. It was like, hey, I talked to my partners and I think we can do it. And I was like, what do you mean you can do it? He's
Build
like,
it?
Yeah.
So
Is that what you're thinking?
yeah, that's kind of a funny story. So very quickly, right? No, I'm not a software guy, and you have to remember, I met somebody on a jiu-jitsu mat. What you do, right? And he's like, "I for sure do it." I'm like, well, I'm not about to go to Adam because we were just starting. We've been friends at the time. I would say friend acquaintances, right? We didn't get as close as we did until now, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to open my mouth to a mutual mentor of ours, which very similar to the GymSciencx model. Adam is so familiar with it and he's so accustomed because we got taught by the same guy. It's kind of funny. Even though they're separate worlds, it's the same world. So I just kind of stayed quiet about it. And I like was super excited because there was this company, I can't name it right now, but legitimately they just took on private equity. They looked like they were propelled to do rocket ship. I had met with the CEO, all is good. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe imposter syndrome here. I'm just going to put the big dog first and I'll just sit back. And the big dog didn't win. And I was like, are you serious? Like, you mean to tell me a private equity backed company can't do something as simple what there is a dramatic need in the market to do? And then I realized private equity companies and venture backed companies have sold a dream for a product before they were able to even really do the market research. They claim they do the research, but they never really sat with a guy like Adam, and they never really adjusted to the market the way they need to. So they
Bang in the trenches.
Yeah.
Say,
Hey, so anyone else also sometimes, like, but I understand that too, and to that degree, some of the companies that are backed up, because they were good at selling the dream.
Right.
They were good at selling the dream, and we're guilty of this. And that's why I have to say this, where sometimes when you're selling the dream, you pull people in that have nice resumes, but doesn't know how to do the trench work. They don't know how to like get their, because they've been out of the trenches for so long that they're like, oh, like say for instance, like a CTO, right? That builds systems. If he's been a CTO for the last like 10, 15 years and hasn't built a program in the last 10 years and stuff like that, you take him and put him on and you ask him to start building out a system for you. Yeah, watch that.
for everybody watching, what's a CTL?
CTO is a Chief Technology Officer, right? So like anybody that's building your back-end software system, so like what happens is when you're going up the food chain and you want to grab some, it's like getting a celebrity. You grab that celebrity. That celebrity has not done the legwork for like years because they propelled, and obviously totally understand that's great. I'm not, saying anything about them specifically, but what happens is that they are not as relevant in the understanding of what it is.
Yeah, the wants and needs and all
Yeah.
like little, what's the word I'm looking for? Like little intricacies. What's the word I'm looking for here? Like all the minute details. Yeah,
the details.
Yeah,
And that's okay. Like it's,
right.
But established companies, they're like a cruise ship, right? They're just going straight. They really can't make that U-turn where like a little company or an up and coming company like me, I'm like a little speedboat. I'm like, zoom, might as like turn around, but if your ship can't turn, like that's
Right,
it. Once
right.
that ship is sailed, dude, that's it. You're going to open sea.
And there's other things that you guys are working on too right now. Like to allude to a couple things, you guys are working on like some things in the peptide space as well.
Yeah, so GymSciencx is vertically integrated. And we realized very quickly that a very dominant space and a very popular space right now is longevity, hormone therapy, and peptides. So we ran some research and we found out that most of the members, do care about apparel. They do care about footwear, but it's kind of subjective purchases, right? It's based off of what you like. Well, there's one product that doesn't discriminate at all, and that's obesity. So if you're fat and rich, I guarantee you want to be rich and thin.
Right.
If you're fat and poor, I guarantee you still want to be thin and poor.
Right.
So we decided that it was a great space for us to hop into, and we jumped right into telemedicine. And that's where we came up with multiple manufacturing partners in the 503A and 503B compounding space.
Okay.
And it's just been a beautiful integration, and it's done really well for Adam and I. We're getting a lot of buzz around it.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I think in the space too is that you think of the series when you talk about like peptides as a general. There's so many different categories inside of peptides that like there's and that's why like I've heard people say this, like there's a peptide for everybody. But because like if you think about it, there's one for, let's say for instance, obesity. They're diabetic ones. Now let's say for instance that's not the one that you want, right? Even if you're working out in the gym, you're doing that for longevity, and you're getting there. Tell me one person that has not had an injury, right? There's always myself. I get injured all the time, right?
Yeah.
And it's
They help with fatigue and recovery and all
Exactly.
types of things.
So there's all these different things now. Where I find it, where why we wanted to kind of branch that out for GSX and really kind of bring more stuff to the market, and to understand why it's the perfect kind of marriage and like collaboration is that a lot of the stuff out there, other than ChatGPT lately has been great, but at the same time that's not the greatest place to always get your information. Reason being is because it's just like nutrition. Yes, you can go out there and put ChatGPT. Okay, I weigh this. What is my diet should look like? Give me a plan. And they're going to sit there and tell you how many carbs, macros, like all this other stuff, right? But everybody's
body is different.
Yeah, the biochemistry.
Exactly. So your ethnicity, everything plays a role. How you raised, where you're raised, what type of food, even where you're trying to get that food, right? Because bread in the U.S. is different than bread in Italy, 100%.
I know.
Right. It is. Try eating the pizza. It's drastically different, right? And you can feel it within 30 minutes of eating, maybe like 5-10 minutes of eating, right? Now, I'm not talking about the taste. I'm talking about how your body reacts to it, right? So very similar. That's where we saw what was going on with the peptide space. It's slightly taboo because why? No one knows enough about it other than the facts that they find on ChatGPT.
So you guys are also doing some education around it?
Yes.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah?
So the education today is like, if you have a needle and you put it in, you're a steroid user.
Yes.
Right.
That is the education today.
My education was Rocky looked good, Arnold looked good, I want to look good.
Right.
But no, removing that aspect of it, there is a lot of positive benefits to using peptides to really help your body recover and feel better. And, you know, the truth is people are living longer and our food processing quality is probably not the best. So people should be looking for, because peptides is relatively inexpensive for the reward that you get.
Right.
You know, truthfully, when you buy like, and this is going to sound horrible to the supplement people, but sawdust in a capsule that says John's fuel for getting ripped, that's probably way worse for you because it came out of like some Chinese manufacturer with with several contaminants and you just get some tingly system because they put some caffeine in it. Whereas if you truly got like a peptide that went through FDA compliance through a legitimate pharmacy and had to go through a medical practitioner, it's actually cheaper.
Because a lot are not FDA, right?
Yeah.
So
Well,
the ones,
I wouldn't say a lot are not, but I mean, there's a good amount.
yep.
The reason why is because it's new to the market.
Correct.
So they're finding what is going on is, if you think about this, there's what peptides are is basically proteins and things that your body already produces, right? And it expands it out.
Can be fragmented hormones. as
Yeah,
well, too.
fragmented hormones. So when we're bringing that, think of your body, how many different types of proteins, types of hormones, types of like all these different things that's going to come up. So they came out and they replicated everything. And so there's like a whole laundry list, right?
Yeah.
Right. And then so what they did was when they presented it to the market, the FDA goes, that's a lot. Like I can't go through it and just be like,
Right.
okay, approve them all.
Right.
So what they did was they focused on the most,
Familiar, the most familiar, yeah.
and most used.
Correct.
So the recovery ones, BPC, TB 500, like weight loss, which is for the diabetics, was the GLP.
GLPs.
They focused on those first, right? Now there is two parts to why they focus on it, right? One is the most common. Two, most likely
profit,
most profitable.
Yeah.
Exactly, right?
Well,
and I can't,
I don't know like anybody who's listening to this or watching this right now what your familiarity is with peptides, but I remember 15 years ago, like in like 2010, 11, 12 when they first came out, a lot of the sites out there were like research peptides.
Yeah.
It was like clenbuterol, albuterol, like right? It's like, bro, that is not a peptide,
That's
dude.
Arnold.
Yeah, it's like some like there was a lot of things that were not legitimate, and they would just say that they're research peptides.
Yeah.
But now it's not so much like the research has been done, and these are like highly developed peptides that are not the same thing as they were years ago, like that.
Yeah, and then the other thing too is that what has changed is from then till now, people have added the education and actually had added the assistance, right? And that's where we want to kind of expand that even more. And what I mean by that is the Regenix of the world, the Open Loops of the world, the telemedicine of the world, what they're doing is they're actually getting proper information, collecting proper data from the clients themselves, right? They're taking your blood work, they're looking at all this stuff and looking at specifically what you need, right? And they're dissecting your body down to it and they go, okay, this is what you need. This is where we're going to put it in.
Right.
And they do it in smaller increments where it's like almost the magic word is microdosing, right? And they do it so they can bring your levels up to match that versus blast you, right? Because that's the Arnold world. Right. Yeah.
Right.
So you're looking for astronomical stuff. While this one is more of like approaching it where you need to get your peak performance. That's where the main keyword is, right? And so we see it who would be, and this is where back to Jonathan's point, who's the person, the first line of defense that you're going to ask? Anybody that goes out there. right? If I had a personal trainer, which I do, sorry, I do have like 2 personal trainers. Don't yell at me for not calling you my personal trainer. But like, if I'm training with them, they would be my first line of defense, because I actually talk to them all the time and be like, hey, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
Do you use this? I saw this protein. What about this? And they'll give me different guidance and what their recommendations are and all these different things, right? So that's one line of defense, or not defense, but like offense, where that's a first person that I would talk to. So that's where we start seeing trainers and gym owners.
Well, there's a lot of issues there where like a doctor would say, hey, this is like so far out of practice for a personal trainer to be recommending peptides and that kind of stuff. But to push back and why this is such an important conversation, I think that a lot of like the general public, an individual is learning from perceived likelihood of achievement. I want to look like my personal trainer.
Yes.
By the way, like I see personal trainers, if you don't look like a personal trainer, we need to talk, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I understand like if you're a retired boxing coach and, or some people depending on the sport, but for like your average personal trainer, and I don't expect people to do things that I haven't done, or like I'm not going to tell someone to put something in their body that I think would, number one, be harmful to them, or number two, I wouldn't put it in mine. But going back to that, this is kind of bridges that gap, right?
Yeah.
100%. And that was the idea when I said that most personal trainers and gym owners have done extraordinary things in their life. If you look at the last, I think it was like the health advisor under the Biden administration who was in charge of our health.
Oh my gosh.
Did not,
That's not them.
did not look healthy.
Yeah.
So-
now you see RFK come up. He's like,
Yeah, and
you're like, yeah, that guy knows about health.
He knows about health. So it's the same concept, right? Like most of the time when you go to healthcare practitioners, it's kind of starting to change, but most of them don't practice what they preach.
Yeah.
They don't. So it's very easy for people to look at their trainer.
Right.
And probably the trainer is a lot healthier than the doctor that told them not to do that. Like,
Right.
I don't know how many times I've gone to the doctor and they're like, I'll have like a scratch, and they'll be like,
We got to take it off, John.
2 months
You
off.
got to
You're
We got to
done.
take it off, John. That's enough.
And like you'll go back to your trainers or your training partners. They're like, oh, dude, I've already been through that. Just put this, like, you actually, I don't want to say the word like gym bro science, but truly you learn a lot more by just being inside the gym and talking to
Experience.
people.
People are it's been there, done that.
Like to say.
Yeah.
So I've seen, like I said, there's bad advice everywhere you go, right? Like there's some people in the gym where you're like, dude, I don't know why you do what you thought, but the bodybuilding community, the fitness community, I think they probably, in some respects, have more information because they were more experimental with a lot of these products. And
Pioneers.
They are the pioneers. So what better way to give advice to somebody who's actually gone through the ups and downs of peptides? And
Yeah, if I could do it all over again, I wouldn't do this
The
or
other
that.
thing too that you have to understand, and I know a lot of people listening to this, they're going to tell me this, right? And I had cousins and family always, they go to me and they go to their doctor, their family doctor, and they go, well, I got my test, I got my blood work and all that stuff tested. I go, okay, great. And they show it back to me. They said, my doctor says I'm good. And I go, for who? According to who? Right? Because when you go to the medical practice, when it comes to that, they take a wide range and then they look at it and they find the middle, right? So who goes to the doctors? Do a lot of healthy people go to the doctors?
no.
You go to the doctors because you're typically unhealthy. So their sample size and where they're kind of gauging from is already kind of slightly pulled down, right? And then they take the median of that one, of the middle, and they call it the average. So you're the average of those who feel that they're sick and going to the doctors, right? So with that being said, that's where we want to get the proper understanding of where a healthy human body should be, according to that person, right? And that's externally and internally. That's why you have to do blood work and all stuff. And then where we understand is like, hey, I totally get this from the personal trainer. It still shouldn't always fall on the personal trainer at all, right? Because they're not fully medical. They could be nutritionists, but they're not fully medical doctors,
Yeah.
right? So I understand that too. And I wouldn't say that as well, but then the reason why we got into this was we wanted to build the partnership
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. It's so
with the
important.
doctors, right? Get the actual doctors that are understanding where the delta should be. then now you have that. How confident as a personal trainer or a coach would feel if they have a backing and understanding with the doctor themselves.
Yeah.
So basically what the clients now have is the personal trainer and coaches on board, plus the doctor there to assist them.
Which is a lot more high value
Super.
relationship from like the consumer standpoint to the trainer.
Yeah, I mean, historically speaking, health, fitness, and healthcare all go together,
Right.
and they're fragmented. They don't talk to each other. Right. So GymSciencx is trying to more or less unify that entire process and allow trainers to learn more, get more education from medical professionals. And luckily, we've referred them to this new era of medicine, I'd like to say, like Regenix, where a gym personal trainer who acts like a consultant, right? He's not a healthcare professional, but he's a person who lives what he preaches, could confidently communicate with a longevity clinic or physician that says, hey, look, this is generally what you should be seeing. And if you have clients, we'll be happy to service them. All you have to do is just open the doors with minor level education.
Right.
We're not saying start making prescriptions. They run through a telemedicine platform that's powered by a compliant, open loop system. That's literally the name of the company. And the trainer is going to get a benefit because he's obviously educating his customer more. His client is now going to get personalized healthcare and training at the same time.
Their biochemistry dialed in.
Correct. And they're going to see results. And that is, what Gary Brecka talks about. When you really look at like Dana White and all of these high level people, that used to be like $1 million man, what they used to say.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if you want a doctor to be built around you, be prepared to write some checks.
Yeah.
It's now literally gone for the elite to the average. Yeah. And that really is going to be a dramatic turn for, our population.
I think it also, here's one thing that I find, and it's the elephant in the room. It's kind of funny, but to call out the clients, right? But what better way to keep the client honest? Now, like, let me say this. If you went into the doctor's today and there's a question on there, and let's say, for instance, you have casual drinks on the weekend, or you have a casual cigarette when you drink, and it says, yes or no, do you drink? The answer is always no. Because they go, do I drink every single day? No. Okay, that's a no, right? Do I smoke every single day? No. But in reality, do you drink? Yes, you do drink. In reality, do you smoke? Yes, you do. Just because it's sporadic, it's still a yes, right? Now, that's how most of us actually answer. And I'm guilty of it at times. But let's say, for instance, you went into your personal trainer or coach.
Oh,
you went over there and you said, I don't drink. And that person will be like, what did you just say?
They'd be like, I saw your Instagram story.
What do you mean you don't drink? I just saw you last week. Yeah. Like you were on top of that table. What are you talking about? And I did not put that into your program. So that allows the accountability portion of it. And it's turning something. It's like, and I love it because where it becomes, it's like, you're combining the gym bro science to factual science, and you're putting it together, and then the client at the end of the day gets the actual real results.
All the benefits. I love it. So you guys are working on, you guys don't have to talk about it right here, but you guys have some big partnerships with this coming out.
Yeah, so we have some nationally recognized gym chains that saw value in what we're doing. We have nationally recognized healthcare groups that saw value in what we're doing. And at this point, we're just making sure that our technology connects with, the national chains as well as the drug manufacturing chains. And the last piece that we'll be adding is precision marketing based around people's activity. Mm-hmm. So everybody today wears, like an Aura, a Whoop, or they even have one of these bad boys, and it just tracks your almost everything. It's the most limited version. But that data just kind of looks really cool when you look at it. That was cool. But what we're doing now is we're going to say, okay, whatever you connect to your life in terms of how you want to be healthier is going to go directly into the gym management software. Mm-hmm. And what that does is we're going to say, hey, we noticed, Gabe, on your phone that you used to walk 2 feet a day and now you're doing 5 miles. Mm-hmm. And we want to congratulate you for that. So our GMS will have precise marketing that'll say, okay, Gabe likes Nike. Gabe obviously is putting in more work. Here's a 15% off to go back to Nike and keep your journey going. Mm-hmm. So that level of precise marketing and marrying devices with healthcare and precision tracking with marketing elements is really where GymSciencx is poised to really take over. And that's why big chains are kind of jumping on board with us, which is nice.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and the wearables has been, it's amazing, but it's with the software and what I call big data. Big data is the data that you're not looking at.
Yep.
Right. So meaning when you're wearing a fitness watch or like an Oura ring or anything like that, you turn it on when you exercise. So it tracks you when you do the run, when you exercise or something like that. And then all of a sudden you turn it off, right? When you turn it off, what's your heart rate? What's all the things that you do when it's off, right? That's what I call big data because it's not tapped into yet. Now, what they're going to do is they're going to make it, with technology, you can make it more precise. You bring in all the pieces and it doesn't just track the time that you actually worked out. It might be like, hey, that one time you took your kids to Disneyland, you walked this much more, right? And any parent that needs exercise, go take your kids to Disneyland. Disneyland, sponsor us, please. But any one of those things, it's just kind of works out. And there's a lot of little increment things that actually can help boost your testosterone, like it regulates your hormones. Sleep is a huge one. And most people don't know that they have bad sleep until they have bad sleep.
I know I have bad sleep.
Yeah, right. And then that's when you start to fix it. Right. But other than that, most people in the world today, they don't think about that. They think that, oh, yeah, I got a great. Some people that actually got 8 hours of sleep don't get 8 hours of sleep. Just because you sleep for 8 hours doesn't mean you had 8 hours of good sleep.
That's very, very true.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, because just quickly, it's just it helps you monitor and understand that. And then you can do small, minor tweaks to actually get better sleep. And if you can probably even get better sleep in 6 hours if you did it properly.
Absolutely. Okay. I got some hot seat questions. You guys ready for this? These are hot seat questions that I cooked up literally on my drive in this morning.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with John.
Sure.
Okay. And I'm going to alternate to you.
Okay.
We might go back and forth here. Who's the GOAT? Michael Jordan, LeBron, or Kobe?
I'm going to say Kobe because I like his discipline, his focus, and he's from, playing for the Lakers and from California.
Okay. Who's the GOAT?
Okay. The GOAT is Michael Jordan. My GOAT is Kobe Bryant.
Okay. Bro split or push-pull routine? You got to pick one.
Bro split.
Okay.
Push-pull routine.
Okay. What would you rather, be a Raiders fan or a Dallas Cowboys fan?
Sad story. I grew up as a Raiders fan because maybe I'm just not even going to say it. But
Yeah, well, hey, look, there's no right or wrong answer. It's just an answer. Raiders fan or Dallas Cowboys fan?
I'm definitely straight.
Okay.
Raiders.
Raiders fan or
Raiders
Dallas?
for sure. There's
Okay.
no way you're going to find me in a Cowboys jersey.
Vitamins or medicine?
Ooh. What kind of medicine are we talking about?
Vitamins or medicine?
Isn't the same?
You got to pick one. These are hot seat questions.
Medicine.
Vitamins or medicine?
Medicine.
Okay. Ice falls on the floor. Do you pick it up or kick it under the fridge?
Oh, I'm picking it up, dude.
I'm kicking it.
Car guy or house guy?
I have both.
Which one are you? A Tesla doesn't count, John.
I got rid of it. All right, because I have a family, I'm gonna go house.
I'm a car guy.
Pick one. Call, text, or email.
Oh, text.
Text.
Okay. UFC or boxing?
UFC.
UFC.
Top 3 actors of all time. Go.
Brad Pitt, Tom Hardy, Scarlett Johansson.
Okay. What do you got? Top 3 actors of all time. Could be actresses as well.
But she's hot. So.
Leonardo DiCaprio is one of them. Tom Cruise was another one for me. And then, I don't know what third one would be. I don't have one on the top of my head. Brad Pitt?
Okay. Shop with your wife or shop alone?
It's less expensive by myself.
Okay.
Myself also.
Best advice you can give to an entrepreneur who's struggling?
Be resilient. Be tough. You're going to get hit. Everybody takes a hit, but it's better to work for yourself than work for someone else.
I love it. Adam, best advice you can give to an entrepreneur who's struggling?
You lose more than you win.
Okay.
But the wins are astronomically worth it.
Cash or credit?
So I used to be, I'm going to say credit.
Okay. Cash or credit?
Credit.
Okay. Least favorite part of your job, John? Be brutally honest here. Least favorite part of your job?
The part when I inadvertently don't do a good job and I have to deal with the consequences of my poor decisions.
Least favorite part of your job, Adam?
Driving.
Okay. You have to pierce something. What's it going to be, John?
When you say peer, what does that mean?
Pierce. You got to pierce something.
Pierce.
Pierce.
Like a body piercing.
Oh.
You got to pierce something. What's it going to be, John?
You know, I've never been cool enough for a piercing, but I've always thought earrings were badass.
Well, that's going to change today. Ian, come on down. You got to pierce something, Adam. What's it going to be?
This is kind of funny. When I was in high school, my face used to be like a pinhead. I used to have like gauges and all this stuff. If you look closely, I used to have like like everything. So if I pierce something again, it's probably my earrings and then my gauges and then the tongue ring.
Favorite thing about yourself, John?
Nothing. I don't quit.
There it is. Favorite thing about yourself, Adam?
I'm obsessive.
Okay. Is a quesadilla a Mexican grilled cheese?
Quesadilla is 100% a Mexican-American grilled cheese sandwich.
I don't care. I still eat it.
When was the last time you cried?
Today, no. I almost cry every day because life as an entrepreneur is hard. But truthfully, it's been a while. I haven't really had a good cry yet.
So like 6 months?
6 hours? No. A couple years.
Okay. When was the last time you cried?
Probably 2 days ago.
Okay. Is chest day the best day, John?
I used to think that, but not anymore now.
I heard a yes off camera back there. Is chest day the best day?
Yes, just is the best day.
What's wrong with America, John?
Ooh. Entitlement.
What's wrong with America, Adam?
Laziness.
Who's your bestie?
When you say D, what does that mean?
Who's your bestie? Like your
Oh,
bestie.
God, you guys are so cool. I'll say my wife.
Okay. Adam, who's your bestie?
My wife and kids.
Okay. How many grams of protein do you eat per day, John?
I don't track that, unfortunately, so I don't have an answer.
Do I eat?
Yeah. How many grams of protein do you eat a day?
Right now it's about 150.
Okay. Got to get that up. You can only wear one type of shoes the rest of your life. What are they, John?
This is going to sound pretentious, but I bought a pair and I love them. It's the men's sneakers Christian Louboutin.
Oh, yeah. That is super pretentious.
What was
Okay. What? You can only wear one type of shoes the rest of your life. What are they?
Oh, Ultra Boost.
No, Louboutin. They're cool. Yeah. Okay.
Mine is because our feet hurt. Anything else?
If you weren't in the industry you're in now, what would you be doing, John?
If I was not in the industry, meaning being an entrepreneur or just...
If you're not, yeah, I mean, obviously you're in several different industries,
Right.
but if you're not doing what you're doing now, what would you be doing?
I probably would have been in the military. I love that lifestyle.
Okay. Adam?
I don't know what I'll probably be in jail.
That's a career as well, too.
You're a career criminal.
All right, cool.
And I think about that every day.
And John, tell the people at home, what do you have coming next and where can they find you, man?
So you can find me on Instagram at JohnRmore237. What I got going next is I'll be working on some big partnerships with national gym chains, and you'll see Adam and I working on some big projects.
Awesome, man. Yeah, all Jonathan's information will be in the description below. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for stopping by the channel. Adam, anything you want to say to the people before we cut it?
No, have a great day and a great weekend, and hope to see everybody soon.
All right, guys, stay deadly. Peace.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning into the Winning Daily YouTube channel. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and go right here and turn that notification bell on. We look forward to winning daily with you.